Hello, you delightful individuals, and welcome back to the joys of thirst and vanity, the home of hedonism that is. Once again, we are here doing more movie-based stuff today, because I was linked a cheeky little trailer, another cheeky little trailer. I've been doing a lot of trailer reacts, but you know what? There's an awful lot of stuff that's coming out at the moment that excites me, so we're doing yet another trailer react. And this one, I am intrigued by. This is for Dr. Jekyll. Okay? So we're talking the old classic horror story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's a very, very classic horror trope of the idea of a scientific mind and a brutish boar, the good and the evil, Dr. Banner, the Incredible Hulk, that entire scenario, you know? I didn't even know that they were making a Dr. Jekyll movie by any stretch of the imagination. However, what I've been linked to is apparently official trailer number 2. So evidently another trailer has come out at some stage. And again, I had no clue about it by any stretch of the imagination. But over the past 8 months, I have been on a bit of a horror binge, but like a classic horror binge. I've been watching the old Bela Lugosi Dracula, the Nosferatu movie, old Wolfman movies, the old school black and white classic horrors. And it seems to be having a bit of a resurgence at the moment when you're talking about this movie, Dr. Jekyll, and they're bringing around a new Nosferatu remake and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see what angle they're going to be going with on this. Now, I have to say, one of the things that immediately piques my interest, one of the things that immediately grabs my attention is the cast. And when I say the cast, I mean specifically the person that was on the thumbnail for this trailer, and that was Suzy Izzard, also known as Eddie Izzard. Suzy Izzard has been an all-time icon of mine since I discovered them when I was in my young teen years. I literally got all of their stand-up comedy stuff. I knew Dressed to Kill off by heart. I watched pretty much nearly every movie that they were involved in. I was an absolute fanboy of everything that they represented, and I loved it. I just, absolutely exquisite. Fantastic. Loved them so very, very much. And have followed them and their escapades, through comedy, through film, through charity work with all the marathons, and through politics as well, with great admiration. And I'm fascinated to see what this whole thing entails and how they really go into the concept of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and whether they're going to have a different spin on it. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. This trailer was actually linked to me by a member of the community. Pretty much all of the trailers that I react to are sent to me through the community Discord that we have, where, yeah, it's just hey, Val, here's another trailer, something you might be intrigued by. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, they are entirely correct. So yeah, should we get to it? Let's get to it. Let's do the thing, shall we? Okay, Dr. Jekyll official trailer number 2. I haven't seen number 1. Okay? Let me be very clear. This is literally the first thing I am seeing about this project. Let's see what it shows, all right?
Nina Jekyll is excellence incarnate. She demands the same from others.
Okay.
What we're looking for is someone who could help about the house.
It's a live-in position. You would live here with Nina.
You like my chessboard? Do you play?
I hear you're all alone up there.
What?
You're working for Nina Jekyll in that place outside of town.
Immediately love the fact that they are changing it to Nina. Was it Nina or Mina Jekyll? Dr. Jekyll in a less traditional format. Love to see that. This is giving me really strong Woman in Black vibes. Minimal cast. Manor in the middle of nowhere. Everyone around seems to know something apart from the person that is going into the manor to do the job. It feels a little too bright for me at the moment. Well, I mean, we're 23 seconds into the trailer, but it feels a little bit too bright. The aesthetics are all very light and clean and summery. But I wonder whether that's the mix between this is Dr. Jekyll and how dark it's going to get when we meet Hyde.
I have a daughter. To see her, I need this job.
I have a little plan for you of my own.
There are cameras in almost every room.
2 steps ahead. That is the secret.
You forgot Nina's beds.
Okay. They're already really leaning into the hammer horror element of it. Now, with hammer horror comes a certain amount of cheesiness that tends to be part of the repertoire. They do horror, but there's always a certain element of cheese. Maybe that's because I've seen all of the old hammer horrors and they become very cheesy from a modern perspective when looking back, whereas at the time they were genuinely terrifying. Whereas this is definitely got a lot more slow build tension, I suppose, and it feels a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It does feel a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but again, it's definitely giving me that sort of the innocent person that's the attendant who's come to just help out Mina Jekyll, and it's all fine and dandy. But then I quite liked the little element, like when Suzy was eating, and just that little bit of carnal instinct, as it were, that little bit of animalistic nature is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, a little bit of animal things. The idea of Mina being very prim, very proper, very together, very in control, very intelligent with the chess, but just a little slip every now and again of something just getting through. They said here, did she take her meds? It's like the meds are wearing off, or they're no longer quite as effective. What are the meds for? We assume the Hyde character. Let's whip it back a little bit.
Get out of here, you thieving degenerate!
Oh, that was cheesy. I realized that when they do voice changes, it's designed to be otherworldly, supernatural, and the whole concept of Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, or Jekyll and Hyde, is slightly supernatural, but that just felt that immediately ripped me from the immersion. I find that in this day and age, the concept of voice changes to make things more spooky, more scary, more unnerving needs to be done perfectly or not at all. It needs to be done absolutely to a T, to the fact that there is literally nothing but unnerving nature to it, or don't do it at all, because if you don't do it right, it feels cheesy and rips you out of the immersion, and that's exactly what happened there. It felt cheesy and it ripped me out of the immersion. I was just like, oh, for God's sake, right, okay, yeah, okay, you've got a voice changer because suddenly Jekyll's turning into Hyde. Oh God, what a shame. You know, that was upsetting. That was annoying. I was getting quite excited, and then that bit sort of ruined it for me, really, if I'm honest with you. But we'll see. We've got another like 32 seconds left. Let's see if it can bring it back.
I'm not Nina, boy! Whoa, she's a bit crazy, isn't she? Help me, she's coming, she's coming. She's coming!
I mean, there's the stand-up comedy. There's the stand-up comedy. There's the stand-up comedian that I am all too familiar with. Oh no, she's coming! Oh! But then I suppose that potentially is leaning into the concept of the insanity side of Hyde versus Jekyll. But if that's the way that they're doing it, if that's the way that they're angling this entire concept, where Hyde is the alter personality that is a serial killer versus an inhuman monster in a literal sense as opposed to a metaphorical sense. Yeah, if they're going for inhumanity, which would be covered by the voice change, then they really need to lean into the monster element of it. Whereas if they're going for the the megalomaniac, psychopathic killer element of it, then they shouldn't be doing the voice changing element of it. That last 30 seconds was really good. I enjoyed that. It was visceral. It created a genuine horror atmosphere, a moment of suspense and tension for me, at least. But again, it was kind of then, I don't know, the trailer itself didn't grab me in the way that I was hoping it would. I don't know what to expect. And this is the second trailer. Maybe the first trailer was different, but if this is the second trailer they're releasing, I now don't know what to expect when going into it. Is it a visceral, serious horror of the Jekyll and Hyde story from a slightly alternate and potentially modernized perspective? I mean, they talk about cameras and medication and stuff like that. So, you know, there's that element of it. Or is it the supernatural, monstrous, caricatured nature of Hyde being an otherworldly creature, being the Incredible Hulk version, like a psychopathic killer Incredible Hulk? Evidently not, or certainly we haven't seen any transformations physically in like Suzy's behavior. But there's definitely an element there of comedy as well that wasn't really... I just don't know. I don't know what to expect from this. I was quite excited because it's the Jekyll and Hyde story, because it's Hammer Films, and it's been a while since we've seen the Jekyll and Hyde story, and more specifically a Hammer film. But this entire trailer just left me confused as to where it's gonna go. I like the minimal cast. I like the idea of it being bright when they're Jekyll and dark when it's Hyde. The little subtle nuances of changing in character from together and controlled to slightly animalistic. I like those elements of it. The voice changer completely ruined the immersion for me. The visceral nature of all of the blood and the murder and the gore, I quite enjoyed. That made me happy because it wasn't too much. It didn't feel like it was too much gore. It wasn't a bloodbath. It was just enough to imply sinister motives and what have you, sinister actions. But then they've got the slightly comedic element of the voice changer and some of the characteristics that Suzy was portraying there. So, yeah, I don't know what to expect from this. I'm not going to lie to you. I was quite excited, and I have finished quite confused. Not entirely sure what is meant to happen in this. Will I watch it? Probably. Because I like the story of Jekyll and Hyde. I like Suzy Izzard, and I have a certain level of respect for the history that Hammer and Hammer Horror specifically has produced throughout the decades. But I don't have massively high hopes based on the trailer that I've seen. I just don't know what to expect, you know? However, I'd love to know your thoughts. What do you think? Do you know the story of Jekyll and Hyde? Do you know the Hammer Horror dynamics? Do you know more about this? Have you seen the first trailer? If you have seen these things and you have some more perspective to add, then please put it down in the comments. I would genuinely be interested to know whether I've just been lulled into an odd sense of security with this, or whether there is more to it that might be slightly more explanatory in maybe the first trailer, or perhaps alternately that you just don't have any hopes for it because of what we've seen so far. Not entirely sure, but it's something. I feel like I've just left this entire situation very, very confused. Very, very confused. If you haven't already, please check out some of my other reactions to other movie trailers that are coming out recently. There's an awful lot of movie trailers that have been coming out recently that are things that appeal to me. So there's been a lot of reactionary content for it, but I'm not complaining. I do enjoy it. I enjoy it. And of course, if you enjoy all of that content, then please give us a cheeky little subscribe. please give us a cheeky little subscribe. There's going to be more movie stuff along with all of the other hedonistic endeavors that we pursue here in the home of hedonism, you know? Yeah, I'm just going to have to sit and think about that one for a bit, I think. Not sure how I feel about that. But anyway, friends, until next time, don't do anything I wouldn't do, because if I wouldn't do it, I'll fucking kill you.